Hi, I'm Mary Mammoliti. Now, when you think of iconic Canadian food, you think of maple syrup, you think of poutine, but that list is incomplete without the Halifax Donair. This small but mighty sandwich has gained international notoriety, and we're cooking with a chef today that has taken the Donair to even greater culinary heights. I love the sizzle of butter melting in a pan, the smell of cinnamon while I'm baking. I need to touch food while it's cooking and, of course, taste it, even if I can't see it very well. To me, cooking should be fun. That's why I've invited chefs from across Canada who feel the same way I do to cook with me, virtually. Welcome to Dish with Mary. Nova Scotia's Lauren Marshall is a trained chef from the Culinary Institute of Canada and Top Chef Canada alumni. She loves to cook and has been doing it professionally for 17 years. 9 years ago, she became vegan and opened Real Fake Meats, Halifax's first plant-based butcher shop that also includes takeout and delivery. As the head chef and owner, Chef Lauren enjoys creating delicious veggie-based meats and cheeses for her customers to take home, share, and enjoy. She believes connecting with people through food is rewarding, and lucky for us, she's here today to do just that. Hey, Lauren, welcome.
Hi, Mary. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
So I'm really excited about this dish. So you were born and raised in Halifax.
Yeah.
How beloved is the Donair over there?
It is a staple in most homes. For me, I grew up, my father would get home late on a Friday night, bring home pizza and Donairs literally every Friday night. I couldn't even tell you how many Donairs I've eaten in my life.
So let's talk about meat, so the Donair meat.
So it kind of came from that traditional lamb gyro. You have a lot of different spices you're working with. Traditionally, a gyro would be made with lamb. Then it sort of got switched over to ground beef. But then obviously we've kind of mixed it up even more because we don't use any meat here at Real Fake Meats.
Okay, so we're making a vegan Halifax Donair.
That's right, yeah. We're making a very special recipe. It's called seitan. That's the umbrella term for the type of meat, vegetarian meat we're making.
So before we begin, I want to talk about an ingredient that's directly beside me here. I have never worked with this. Tell me a bit about this.
Vital wheat gluten, also referred to as wheat protein. It is the pure protein that's extracted from wheat or flour. So it's really great for vegetarians because where do we get our protein? This is a really great example. It has the same amount of protein that a sirloin steak would have. And it's really special because it comes together really easily. So it's almost easier to make this than it is to make bread because we don't have to activate the gluten. As soon as it touches the liquid, it's coming together.
I want to let everyone know at home, if you're looking for the full recipe, go to our website at AMI.ca/dish-recipes. Where are we starting?
We just really need to mix all of our dry ingredients, except for the vital wheat gluten, together. The vital wheat gluten actually will be the very last thing we put in here.
Because it is so glutinous.
It's very strong.
So I've got a large bowl beside me. I'm gonna put that in front of me.
So we're gonna use garlic powder, onion powder. We could drop that into the bowl.
Okay.
Oregano. We like lots of oregano in this recipe. And then I like to just use a mixture of Italian herbs. That's easy. And then you have the dried basil. Smoked paprika.
Now you really do get the smokiness from it. But you
Yeah.
could also, if you don't have smoky, can you use sweet paprika? As long as it's paprika, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not gonna be mad about
Awesome.
that. But maybe if you don't have the smoked paprika, maybe you have a little bit of barbecue sauce in your fridge.
I like that. Okay.
More spice, Donair, more spice. So a little pinch of cayenne pepper and lots
Okay.
of nice ground black pepper.
I love spice.
Now this is vegan gold.
Nutritional
That's
yeast.
right. We put this, you know what, on everything.
Okay.
It's a very integral part of the business here is using nutritional yeast in everything. Salt, we got to get it seasoned real nice. So we have chickpea flour.
Okay.
So this is gonna soften up our dough. So we wanna add this. This is the chickpea flour, but any bean flour could do, right? And then we can whisk it.
This is so new to me and I love learning new things. So how many servings does this make?
We could probably make a good 6 donairs with this, which is, I mean, important because then you can make this and have a donair party.
Yeah, we're gonna do it virtually, like
Yeah.
we're doing now.
Exactly. Okay, so that's all mixed together. So
Awesome.
let's add our veggie broth to the spice mixture.
Oh, nice, we're going right in. Okay, veggie broth, right into the
Okay.
dry ingredients.
I think so. Yeah, let's do it. And let's mix that all together. So let's now get that chickpea flour spice in with our veggie broth.
We don't want it to resist our whisk. We basically want it to kind of run through the actual
Yeah.
ingredients. Okay.
Perfect. And we're just gonna keep going with the rest of the liquid stuff. So tomato paste, tomato sauce, or ketchup will work for this recipe.
Okay, so I've got my tomato paste here with
Yeah.
me.
I didn't have any tomato paste or ketchup, so I'm actually using a little bit of marinara sauce as my tomato.
Okay, can I just say that the scent that I'm getting from this already is
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's
I'm
got like
so
this
happy.
Mediterranean kind of,
That's it. That's what it is. So we're gonna do soy sauce if you have tamari, and that will help give that dark, meaty color to
Okay.
the donair meat. We are gonna add the vinegar. Now, whatever vinegar you have, we just use apple cider vinegar for everything here.
okay, so my apple cider went in.
Dijon mustard. So this adds that extra layer of spice.
Yeah.
And I like to add these diced onions in here because they will add a little bit of texture to the meat.
I like that. Okay, so we're adding in our onion.
Yep. And then we have oil.
Okay, so this is the mix of the wet and dry ingredients. And now we're going to that famous special ingredient, vital wheat gluten.
That's right. Just sprinkle about 1/4 of the flour in there.
Right?
So you want to mix it in really good, Mary, so that we get rid of any sort of flour or gluten chunks.
When are you adding more of the vital wheat gluten? Mine is thickening up a little quicker than
It
yours, so
is.
maybe.
And that's okay. Very soon, we're gonna start using our hands. We're gonna remove the whisk. So just make sure most of that stuff is off the whisk.
Okay.
I'm gonna put some gloves on.
I'm doing the same on my end. I'm just putting my gloves on. I came prepared.
And we're gonna use one hand to hold the gluten, the other hand to feed it in. So I'm gonna take a nice little handful and I'm gonna sprinkle it over. We're going to mix it, but maybe mixing it with one hand so that we keep one hand clean. I like to do that a lot. How's that feel, Mary?
Just, it's starting to kind of push back a little bit. So I'm feeling that gluten kind of activating.
If you're feeling it's a little wet, I want you to take your non-messy hand and drop more of that gluten in there.
So what texture of the dough are we looking for?
You don't want any of the meat to be sticking to your hand.
So you don't want it to be tacky.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
when it starts to not stick to you, you know you're getting to a good place. Because if it's really, really soft, it will cook spongy.
Okay, so mine is a little on the soft side. I'm gonna add a little more of the gluten.
You're getting the artistry down.
Okay, so mine feels about done. It's taken everything off the sides of the bowl. I've got my meat in the center.
So we now need to get ready to cook it.
Okay, so I've cleaned off my work surface. I'm bringing everything closer to me. We need our meat, a sheet pan. I've got some foil, tin foil here, some oil. What are we doing next?
We want to just get a little bit of oil on the foil. Oil on the foil.
Foil and oil. I was a poet and I didn't know it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We'll write a book. So you just want to get a little bit of oil on your tin foil, just so the meat doesn't stick and it's really easy to work with when we bring it out of the oven. A spray or a brush like you're doing.
Okay, so I've brushed the oil directly onto my foil. I've got that nicely coated.
Now, the vegan donair meat goes onto the foil. So at the shop here, we cook it in more of a rectangular loaf.
How thick do we want this?
We're about like 1 inch to 1.5 inches.
Okay.
That's fine. It looks pretty good. I think we should do the folding of the foil.
Okay, so does it really matter at this point? As long as we have this fully covered and wrapped, is that what we're trying to accomplish?
Exactly. As long as we don't have any sort of seeping hole that it
So a
will
nice
come
little
out
tight
of.
envelope packet.
That's the
type
goal.
thing. Okay.
Nice little present package.
Okay.
Exactly. And then the folded side will cook down first.
So seam side down onto the sheet pan.
Now it has to cook.
Okay.
We want to do a good like 45 minutes. We want it to almost fully cook on the first side. And then we're gonna flip it and check it after 10 or 15 minutes from there.
Now I've got my oven preheating at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Pop this in.
I'm also going to pop mine into the oven.
So we've got our vegan donair cooking in the oven. That'll take about 45 minutes. Now it's time to make that iconic donair sauce. So I've got my ingredients set to the side here with my small little blender.
I too also have it to the side and I'm gonna bring it in. I can't wait to show you this.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just opening up my little container here. What are we adding in first?
I have here sweetened condensed coconut milk.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm just gonna add that into my container.
I'm adding as well. Little apple cider vinegar.
I love a little apple cider vinegar. I actually love vinegar.
And 2 kinds of garlic, fresh garlic and the powdered garlic.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna screw the bottom in, pop this onto my base. How long do we just blend this? Just a quick blend?
Blend it until you think that all your garlic is finely minced throughout the sauce.
Okay, so now we're ready to make noise. Okay, so let's open this up. Oh, it's creamy. And right away I get that garlicky scent. It's magic. It's just pure magic.
That's how we feel here in Halifax.
I can't wait to taste this donair. But before we do, I want to get to know Chef Lauren a little better. So when we come back, we're going to sit down and dish with Chef Lauren Marshall. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more Dish with Mary. We now return to Dish with Mary. Welcome back. So now we're getting ready to dish with Chef Lauren. Lauren, did you always want to become a chef?
I think from a young age, I can't really remember anything else. I always say I wanted to be a ballerina. That was really not working out for me. So I was drawn towards cooking because my grandfather was a chef in the Navy. And of course, in the Navy, you get to sail away to wonderful destinations. And my grandfather always said, you know, you can go anywhere you want to with food. And I knew that, you know, there's restaurants all around the world, so I could take that craft and learn it in different countries. So I sort of used food as a way to travel and see places that I'd never seen before.
It's amazing. What are some of the places you've gone to? You've traveled to?
So I was on Nantucket Island, which was really special, quite close to home, so that felt nice. And I cooked and worked and traveled through Belize in Central America, right on the beach. So, you know, take a break, get a little suntan, go back to the kitchen. Australia and Tasmania, Melbourne, those different places in Australia. India was amazing. I literally just shadowed a chef for a month while I was doing yoga teacher training in the restaurant I went to every day. I just went and hung out in the kitchen with the chef while he made my dinner, and he didn't really speak English, but we just kind of communicated through food and through hands and showing each other how we made different foods. So.
Oh, I'm curious though, were you eating a plant-based diet while you were traveling and working?
Yeah, so I definitely learned traditional culinary French cooking at a French cooking school, but it was shortly after my first year in culinary school when my mom suffered from 2 strokes, sort of made me see food in a different way. So I did make a transition about 8 years into my career that I only wanted to use the plant-based ways to cook and enjoy food and sort of relearn how to cook again with different techniques.
Speaking of those techniques, you've taken what you've learned and what you've developed, and you've turned that into a business.
You know, here in Halifax, there was a good vegan food scene and lots of great things you could get here, but I really was craving comforts. a donair. I want to eat a fried chicken burger, but it not to be chicken. And you couldn't find as much of that here. So I felt like I had to bring that to life. So because of that, I created some boxes and set up a website, and it sold out. And so we realized there was a good business here and that people wanted something like this. Shortly after, I had to open a store and build a kitchen, and we have about 45 different products. So mostly homemade cheeses made from nuts, and then homemade meats made from seitan, and then some just vegetables.
I need to know this. Where does your recipe inspiration come from?
The world. I mean, I'm just inspired by seeing food that I want to eat and then recreating it, right?
So you see these foods, you want to recreate it. Is there anything that really you should say, okay, well, that just can't be recreated?
I don't know. I mean,
is there anything?
I don't think in the way of this can never do this.
And that explains why you have the extensive menu that you do.
I guess so. I like to be challenged, and of course I can't do everything. There is some incredible technology for vegan food, and I don't have the technology. I just sort of have the chef mind, playing with the different flavors, and I like I said, the memory of turkey. Like, I'm creating the memory of the turkey dinner. I always made stuffing with my mom, you know, and being at the dinner table and mixing the spices, and you're making me I'm getting really emotional because, you know, cooking is really special, and we're always recreating these memories that we had with food. Oh my God.
Right? I know, because it runs deep, and we don't realize it until we start talking about it and connecting it all. I can't wait to try your food. Coming up after the break, we put the finishing touches on the donair, so don't go anywhere. Dish with Mary will return. You're watching Dish with Mary. Welcome back. So we've taken our donair meat out of the oven. It's cooled slightly, so I can work with it now. But on my cutting board, what do we do next?
You need to slice it nice and thin. We usually use a meat slicer here, so a nice thin cut.
So we want as thin as I can get it.
Traditionally, they're shaved kind of off of a spit. It's always a rough-looking cut, so it doesn't have to be perfect.
While I'm cutting into it, it really does remind me of meatloaf.
Because we had introduced the gluten, unlike a meatloaf, if you were to slice it, you know, it can crumble apart, but we have that safety net of that seitan, vital wheat gluten.
Okay, so I've got a few slices. Let's put this together.
We'll have the foil, so our donair in itself is going to get wrapped in foil, and that helps the pita stay together.
So I'm gonna push my cutting board aside because we wanna get that foil in front of me.
Pita.
Pita, I've got my pita.
Now we like to fold down the corner of the tin foil. That way we can really expose the donair and make it look as good as possible.
Okay, so when we're placing our pita on the foil, we're just leaving a bit exposed at the folded side of the foil.
That's it. Now, what we would traditionally do is put the tomato and the onion on the bottom of the pita before we put the meat on top.
So we're just lining everything up in the center?
That's right. And then
our meat.
I like to put a little sauce on the bottom and then on the top.
Oh, curveball. Okay.
Curveball.
Little sauce on the bottom. I was ready to dig into the meat. Okay, let me give it a little mix and just drizzle this right over top, the onion and tomato. How much of the sauce?
Let's say three tablespoons, but really it's how you like it. You really want a good amount of sauce on there. You want to taste it.
Okay.
Now the meat.
Now the meat, okay.
Yeah, just pile it. Just pile it on there.
Yeah. There we go.
Let's put more sauce on it now.
Okay, just using a spoon. We're just drizzling right over top.
Yes. Now first we'll wrap it as is, and then we use the tin foil to really hold it together.
Okay, I'm with you.
Oh, you are.
I wrapped it.
Are you going for it?
I'm going for it. Oh my God.
It was messy.
But it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. There is no way anyone's going to be able to tell that this is plant-based.
Yes.
That this donair is plant-based. No way.
We ate these every Friday night, and now my dad gets these delivered to work, the vegan ones from me. So, you know, if you can fool your dad, you're really winning.
Okay, you've converted me. I love this. It's fantastic. After all this, I'm going to need something to wash it all down. What do you normally drink in Halifax with this? What pairs with this?
The people that come into my shop love root beer, but any kind of like nice sody pop. So I'm gonna have some orange pop.
Okay, let me get myself a glass of root beer and then we'll share that together.
Okay.
I got my root beer.
Oh yes. Okay, cool.
Ready? Cheers.
Cheers, Mary.
All of it so good together. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. I had so much fun. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. You are such a joy to cook with. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I'm so happy you had me on.
For today's full recipe, visit our website at ami.ca/dish-recipes. I'll see you next time. Host, Mary Mammoliti. Executive producer, Michelle Dudas. Series producer, Anna Padra-Barrick. Associate producer and editor, Miriam Bakhtiar. Director of Photography, Toronto, Brian Roy. Director of Photography, Halifax, Charlie Benoit. Camera Assistant, Toronto, Gavin Lee. Sound Recordist, Toronto, Mike Monson. Technical Producer, Halifax, Scott Ferguson. Food Stylist, Joyce Singh. Media Accessibility Specialist, Simone Cupid. Audio Post, Mike Monson. Graphics, Mike Smith. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2022, Accessible Media, Inc.